Hello everyone, Xile Grayson here. So, obviously we had the Game Awards the other day, and I just feel like it's no longer relevant. It's something that every single time I hear the results, every single time I see Jeff Keighley's face, I'm just like, seriously, he's so disconnected from the gaming industry now, he doesn't even understand there's a world out there outside the AAA landscape. Indie titles aren't really indie titles anymore. You know, like indie titles to me now will always be things like New Blood, like when it was Scissors. They're the people who just make a game, not because they want to make like a big AAA, landscape type game. You know, they don't want to try and tick boxes to try and, have to make everything crystal clear and oversaturated with colour and, gonna have microtransactions in every little thing that is done. They literally go there to make games, and that is why, like, when I ever hear Jeff Keighley talk, I just like, yeah, you have no fucking clue. You have no fucking clue. If you didn't know, the Game Awards is mainly controlled by gaming journalists, the publishers themselves. That's all it is. It's not like when the fans have said, "Oh, this is a great game." It's mainly critics, and I feel like critics are just not even worth anything anymore, because critics, the way that they are, and I've seen this with films, and Five Nights at Freddy's is the prime example of this. They always try and go like, "Oh, the film isn't like this. It's not like Citizen Kane. It's not shot well. It's this, that, this, that, this, that." But they never understand that everything cannot be Citizen Kane. Sometimes people don't even want to make a perfect film. Sometimes they just want to make a good film, a film that they want to do. Same with gaming. There's people out there who just want to make a good game because, they don't give a shit about, like, "Oh, we're going to make a great game because I need money," And they're so disconnected. That's why when I was watching the Video Game Awards, I keep calling them Video Game Awards and I'm not going to change that, I got to the point where it's just like, whenever I see them, and as soon as they announced, and as soon as Jeff Keighley comes out and says he's going to do a game event, I always feel like these are going to be them overproduced garbage. And that was the thing. Like, I mean, look what happened. Doom Eternal never got a fucking award. It was mainly Last of Us Part 2. I mean, even in this year, somehow he had to stick Last of Us in there. Last of Us is not a great game. Last of Us is just overhyped garbage. There is better games out there. There's games out there that are really good storytelling that still shock people to this day. I mean, prime example, Raven Alternative, she's been playing Vampire Bloodlines, and there was a twist in the game that she did not see coming. This game is a 21-year-old game, and it still has the power to rock people's socks off, to knock people out of the way and go like, "What the fuck? I didn't see that coming." And even graphics, yeah, they look old, and people go, "Oh, the mode are dated." No, that's that time, and that gives it that personality. I've started to realise that gaming, and with anything in my life, you can't have perfection. And if you try and have perfection, it's not real. Real is something that's both imperfections and perfections. That's why there's I'm gonna say one of my friends, he makes music. He's a really good friend of mine. He makes really good music. Go and check him out, hurtrecords.com. And he's remade Worlds Collide multiple times. And to me, the best version is the original, because it's not, it's not being cleaned. It's the imperfections that make that song perfect. And that is why, like, I love old games, because they use the imperfections to their advantage. That's why they say, like, some retro games look better on old tech than new tech, because it removes the detail. And this is like, IGN don't really know what's great and what. I mean, IGN is bought and paid for. I mean, this is the reason why I don't agree with the Game Awards, because if you've got critics like that who have bought and paid for, obviously it's not about like an actual opinion or what they actually think is great. It's because they've got to tick a box. And IGN, I stopped listening to ages ago. I mean, I have a cousin who works for IGN, if you didn't know, and I'm not going to say, I'm just going to say his first initial, which is M. and I'm going to do something a bit personal. Last time I actually saw them face to face, we was at a funeral. It was my great grandfather's funeral, and I swear that side of the family are the most pompous people I've ever known. It is literally the scene from Steptoe Son, where it's like, oh, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this, got this. Oh, what do you got? That is how it was. And when my grandfather told me, oh, your cousin's working as a gaming journalist, I was just like, yeah, right, I don't care. Because the IGN have reviewed really good games poorly and push games that just aren't great at all just to promote a narrative. That's the way it's been. And that's what pisses me off about the AAA landscape, is because they are entitled. They're so disconnected from the world and so disconnected from the gamers, the players, the people who have grown up with gaming. I mean, we're in such a brilliant time right now where you can have games made with hardly anything, right? I mean, when I was a teenager, there was no game engines, there was no 3D modeling software. The 3D modeling software that I found what we could use was going to cost $4,000. So I couldn't use that, right? Now I'm making my own game. I'm using a free engine. I'm using free software, Affinity, to do the textures. I'm using Blender to 3D model. Coding, I'm using mainly Notepad Plus to type the code. I'm going on tutorials, learning from there. Assets, I can go on the Unity asset store and find things. I can build anything that I want. I can go on tutorials. If I want to learn how to make any interaction system, I can go on YouTube and there's a tutorial. AI is now a new thing as well that really does open the doors for people. Like, I'm now starting to look into AI to help speed up game development because I have a day job and I don't have time to focus on the game, which I really want to move to. But that's the landscape we're in now. We can make better games. We can make our own games. You don't have to follow the boxes anymore. You can go, and if you've just got an idea, you can do it. There's a community out there that will help you, that can help you make a game. You can use AI to help you. There's just so many different things. And then there was also a platform that used to be able to embrace the true gamers. I'm going to call them the true gamers. Realms Deep was an event that was run by 3D Realms. Well, at the time, we had like every convention, when E3 fell, you had Microsoft doing one, Bethesda doing one, ID doing one, you had Sony doing one, you had Jeff Keighley doing his Summerfest of shit. You know, you had all these different companies that were coming out the woodwork, and a lot of them just ran like dog shit. They weren't that great. A lot of the games were just terrible. But there was one company that came out and did probably one of the best events, and it was Realms Deep. Realms Deep, it wasn't like an entitled thing. It wasn't like, you know, you had to be in the AAA landscape. To go to the events, you'd have to pay millions to get an ad on there. You didn't have to. You could literally pay them a small amount and they'd put your game on there. You didn't have to be a big studio. You could be just two developers in a basement working together. You know, you could be a single developer working in your bedroom. If it was a good game, they would promote it, and you could spend time. It was a real community. It was such a great thing. I learned a lot about games from there. I learned some really good games. It's because of them about New Blood I learned. It's because of them I learned about Postal. Postal was a game I heard about, but I never played it. And seeing Postal Brain Damage, that was the first time I ever touched a Postal game, and I bought that because it looked like the N64 South Park, and I loved it. And from that point on, I went and found about Running with Scissors. I then learned about Postal. I played Postal 2 from GOG. Thank you, GOG. They didn't give me a card, but I want to thank them because they hosted them. And that's where most of my Postal experience is coming from, is from GOG. They're better deals, and you know, they are better games on GOG because they give you the offline installers, which is fucking amazing. So, and also because we'll go back to them, but from that I then started researching that. I started playing Postal 4. I watched the movie. I don't like Uwe Boll, but I watched Postal the movie, and I switched my brain off, and I realised you don't have to have your brain on. Sometimes it's just, you can have a great film or a fun film just by watching it. Just an outlandish thing, you know, and the fact that, you know, you get Postal dude just getting pissed off because he You know, he's trying to get onto the world, his pay, his pay slip. You know, he's singing a song about a company. You know, them trying to steal Crunchy Dolls and having Mini-Me appear in it and stuff like that, and anything in it with the best line, which is always going to be, "I regret nothing." You know, and that was the thing. And then from that point on, I started to realise gaming can be a lot of things. You can go and do a lot of things. And then seeing the way, like, you have things like Call of Duty X and Battlefield events and all these big budget companies that literally only getting like certain content creators who rip people off, who literally don't know anything other than that fucking game, who can't even have a creative brain cell, suddenly just getting them, you know, promoting the game, going, "Oh, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great," and then a few weeks down the line, they're fucking ripping it a new arsehole. You know, it's stuff like that. But then you have game companies like Running with Scissors, like with New Blood, who go into these game conventions and then saying, "Look, we're going to be here. You know, if you want to meet up, we're going to have our own private little thing as well. You can go to, which is just for the fans. You can come and meet up." I mean, Running with Scissors had people from turn up as like poster dude holding up a petition saying, "Hey there, would you sign my petition?" You know, having fun with that, and they really embraced the community. And you know, it was from there that, like, because of that, I started following Winnie with Scissors. Winnie with Scissors got like their own TikTok, and you know, they replied to one of my comments and did a video reply, and they took the piss out of me. And I love that. I just fucking love that. And you know, it's like they package stuff up and they call you a piece of shit and stuff like that. And it's just like, because they don't give a fuck. They literally are. And them open, they're more embracing than anything. New Blood Interactive, I mean, when they put their trailers out, they literally do say, "We fucking hate money.com," because that's the type of people that they are. They just want to make great games. They don't give a shit about the money. I mean, every game that New Blood has created, I'm just gonna praise them. You know, Gloomwood, it's an early access game, fucking brilliant. Each update is really good. You have Dusk, which was just a fucking awesome game because you could literally, like, 3 episodes of just all out action, best music, best fucking action, and the ending is just perfection because they've got the voice actor who's just so underrated and he slays every fucking line that he's given. You know, then you have Civi, who, you know, he makes YouTube videos based off the old games and he's really good in that. Icarus shows you the Doom mods. And, you know, he's just so good. And in fact, Icarus showed something. Actually, you know what? Let's do something. I want to test your knowledge. I want to see if you can guess what this is. I'm going to show a screenshot right now. Take your time. Have a look at it. And I want you to guess which engine that's on. I'll leave you there for a bit. I'll give you a few seconds. Now, you looked at it, you're probably thinking, "Oh, that's probably the Unity engine. Oh, that's probably Godot. That's probably someone just used a really low rundown version of Unreal." That, my friends, is from 6 years ago on a engine called the Doom 2 engine, a 30-year-old game engine, and they made that. That game didn't get any awards, well, apart from the Doom community. Didn't get any, you know, game awards from like Jeff Keighley. They remade it recently. It came out, and people have been praising it because it's so scary. I do recommend wearing brown pants when you play that game. That didn't get an award at the Video Game Awards, did it? No. And yet he worked his ass off. The guy who made that is amazing. New Blood has also been really cool because there's 2 people I know who are on Twitter, and I've followed them. They basically, one of them made really good concept art. They then also showed some really good trick videos in Gloomwood, and with that they got hired by New Blood. A mod came out for Gloomwood called Gloomwood Randomizer. They got hired last week. You don't see Activision doing that. The most I know Activision have ever done that is when they hired one of the Play the Game directors, and that's Joe Trocious, who's now working in Treyarch. And obviously we know what's going on with Treyarch and Call of Duty. Again, reason why they're so disconnected, because they don't listen to the fans. Gloomwood is such a great game. New Blood, listen to the fans. Hell, look what's recently happened with Winnie with Scissors. Winnie with Scissors shut down a studio because they found out it was all AI generated when they were lying. And that's the type of thing. They embrace the community. If they listen to the fans and the fans don't like it, they'll go, "Okay, we listen to you, we'll do something about it," and they've done that. That's what I love about them. Night Diver's done that recently with Blood. And it's the pricing of that. But again, Night Diver's done something really cool. My cousin really loved the game, wanted to play the game Blood. My brother's been playing the game Blood. And I was sitting there watching my brother play it on the PlayStation, and you could see the remastered cutscenes, and I was just like, we've had so many remasters of Last of Us that it's just pointless. But then there's great games out there from the 90s and the 2000s that don't even get a really good remaster. A lot of them just look like Fortnite clones, and it's just terrible. But seeing the cutscenes of the remastered Blood, I was like, why can't we have a game of that style? Why can't they just bring Blood back to look like that? I'm sick to death of the same remaster over and over again, like Skyrim. We've updated its new engine because it's only been out for 2 years. We need games like that back. We need like remakes of Outlaws, Quake, Blood, Known as Forever, Bloodlines. Those are the games that we need. And that's why I love what Night Diver's done. The fact that they've brought that to console, and then my cousin and that are playing those games, and it's opened it to a new gaming market. And I want them to do that with Bloodlines. I think with Bloodlines they could do that. So, where am I going with this? What am I ranting about? I honestly think Realms Deep needs to come back. And the way it needs to come back is crowdfunded. I think that's the only way it can come back, to make it properly owned by the players. The players are embraced. The people who can't make games as well can go and pay for this event, and it opens up that landscape. And then we have their own game awards that actually matter. They're not controlled for by critics. They're not controlled for by some stupid prick. They are literally controlled by the fans, and the fans get to vote their game. They get get thrown into a hat for each category. We also recommend. He basically talks about game developers like people who've made really good mods, people who've made custom launchers like Reforged. Reforged is one of those cool things where if you want to play classic maps on American Wasteland, that's the best place to go. Get American Wasteland, download it. You can have all the old maps from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, even some from Project 7 or 6, what it was called. There's even the Disney ones as well. You can download them as well. There's loads of custom maps that you can download. You customize your character. You can download your own characters. You can upload your own music. You can upload your own textures for your skateboard. You can do anything moving forward. There's even they've made it online so it works again. And they did that off their own back. Yeah, again, we don't see that from Jeff Keighley, but that's an aspect of gaming that doesn't get promoted. They should get that. Fallout London didn't get paid at all, but they didn't have a category for it in Video Game Awards because guess what? Jeff Keighley's only promoting AAA things. Fallout London was better than Bethesda has ever done in a while, and they didn't get awards. They didn't get recognition for the games that they made. So that should be recommended as well. You can total conversion mods, patches, people who patch games to this day. Bloodlines is one of the ones. I honestly think Paradox need to go to New Blood and say, look, we'll give you the rights to remaster Bloodlines 1. I think that's the only way Paradox can get the love from the Vampire the Masquerade community back. Or get a lot of them back, because then that means fixed game. It works on modern platforms, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, whatever, and that's that. But that gaming landscape can suddenly change, and this is why I say there are so many good people out there that are making these games off their own back because they love gaming. They don't give a shit about money. They may be earning money so they can get by, so they can make more games. But you can make a game for free. Like I mentioned, Unity, Affinity, Blender. If you need video editing, DaVinci. This is all edited with DaVinci. Audio, simple. freestudios.org and Audacity. This is recorded with Audacity. You can do it. It's just, you need the drive. You need an idea, and even AI now, you can create great things. And that's why I'm sort of grateful to certain people who have leaked certain builds of games that never got out the door because, again, it wouldn't make money. For example, Duke Nukem Forever. Whoever released that, leaked that, you deserve a fucking medal. It's the same with GoldenEye, the Xbox Live arcade version. Whoever leaked that, again, you deserve a fucking medal. Because those games are better than what the big AAAs pumped out the door in the last like 10 years. And I honestly think that's why I love gaming, because just that small little aspect of the AAA is just a small point. There is so much out there. Itch.io. You know, think about it. Look what happened with Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's came out of nowhere. Minecraft came out of nowhere. And who were working on it? People from their basements. People from their bedrooms. Not some AAA studio that's got like 5 studios to work on one game. Just one person sometimes just has an idea and they can make it. And yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, fuck Jeff Keighley, fuck Randy Pitchford, fuck the Game Awards, because they don't mean shit. But I honestly think Running with Scissors, Night Dive, 3D Realms, New Blood, they all need to join forces with the communities that they've got, and we can bring back proper gaming, and we can make an event that is actually good, an event that actually looks at gamers for what they are, not what they've got. And we can make some people who deserve the limelight, we can give them that. And you know, that's why I say when my game's done, it's coming out on GOG, because they embraces the community. Look what's happened recently with this whole money situation, with people going to like Visa and MasterCard because we don't like that game and it offends us. They literally went, fuck it, we'll give you a bundle of them for free. They've got video game preservation, you know. They embrace the modding community, so you can install really popular mods on classic games with just one click installs. And that's why I love GOG. That's why I want to put my game on there, you know. So yeah, there's a lot out there in the gaming industry, and that's why I say I'm 35 years old. I am starting to become a grudgy old man, but it's because I can see what we had in the 90s and 2000s, and we made some really great games that aren't being recognised anymore, and everything's just so watered down and lifeless. Fortnite, Call of Duty, you know. We don't have the games like Doom, Quake, Blood, Duke Nukem, Tony Hawk's, Punisher, Red Faction, Saints Row. You know, we had those, and we didn't give a fuck about anything, and that's what I miss. But if you've got an idea for a video game, go and make it. Hell, something I don't really talk about, on our Discord, on the Xiled Ones Sanctuary Discord, we have a whole section where you can promote your game. We have a selection where you can get, I've been uploading content where like tutorials and different things that I've learned to help make games, and it's a place where you can showcase your game. So if you want to, please go and check. If you go into the links in the description that takes to all our social media platforms, and there is the Discord, you'll be able to go and do that. And yeah, let's talk about some really cool shit, you know. And who knows, maybe we should do our own award show for what we think is the best games. But at the moment, all I've been stuck on is Gloomwood. I mean, I've been playing, as you can see from the footage in the background, I've been playing Brutal Half-Life because it's fun and it's funny, and I love the whole thing. I'm excited for Fallen Aces. I'm excited to see what Night Dive do with their next re-releases. And yeah, that's all I've got really to say. As always, like, comment, subscribe, follow links in the description that take to all our social media platforms. And as always, stay safe, my Exile friends. And just go and find some great games. Don't be told what a great game is. You know what a great game is. That's all I've got to say. Enough said.